What is going on, everybody? Lukey Boy is here, and today I'm talking about Galaxy Eggs, but also Galaxy Warriors on the side. They're part of the same overall brand, but of course this will be focusing on the first collection that came out from the brand, which is Galaxy Eggs. Ultimately, they are kind of similar, and they fall within the same kind of metaverse world, but yeah, let's get started. So this project's actually been out for quite a while. If you go ahead and look at activity and you want to go and see all time, it actually started right back in the kind of beginning bull run, kind of September back in 2021. You can see the highs got to about 1.5 ETH. Since then, actually, nothing really crazy. You've had spikes. You can see here, and here. But pretty much, from around that first kind of wave, things chilled off, right? And what does that mean? It doesn't really mean much right now because obviously, we had the first phase of NFTs going a bit more mainstream, which is kind of where you can clearly see the prices here. But for me, this is a really great project actually for the long term. And it is basically a long-term hold for me because of what the future potential could be for this project. Now, why do I say that? Well, firstly, the art is beautiful. So, of course, you're going to get some that don't necessarily look amazing. But if you go ahead and just, scroll through, I'm going to try to pick one that I really like just to kind of give the emphasis on what I'm trying to show, what I'm trying to say. Should we go for that one, Let's go for something like this. Very dark, I know, but we're going to go for it. If you actually look at the quality of this, I can't zoom in anymore, so sorry about that, but you can see how cool these kind of things look. It's basically an art-based project, as you can see. There isn't any specific utility as such. There's a little, I'll go into that in a bit. But if you just want to go and have a look at some of the sort of better quality ones, you just go to highest last sale, and we go ahead and look at the ones that are kind of deemed to be the rarest or the best. And as you can see here, these kind of things that just look so cool. The art is amazing. Like, there's so much unique art that has been put into this. And for me, this is a great project. If you can get an NFT that has the right attributes, so that each attribute kind of complements the other, then you can find some really, really nice ones. Of course, there are some that kind of, for me, that don't necessarily fit as nicely as others, if you get what I mean. So the background, the egg itself, and the kind of avatar in the front. But, if you spend a bit of time looking, you will find some really clean looking ones that kind of fit the purpose in a sense, with what's going on with the attributes that kind of been commingled together. For example, something like this. Yes, there's these weird UFOs, but it looks a lot better than some of the others. It's not going to pop up, is it? Is it going to pop up? It doesn't want to pop up. Okay, never mind. But you can kind of see it from here anyway. It looks, for me, really nice. Obviously, there's some things that I would probably want to change, maybe these little ships. But again, you can go ahead and look at others and find the ones that you desire. So why do I like this project? Well, we can go ahead and just jump on to the homepage. So I can just talk to you about what their main goal is and what's kind of going on here. So the Galaxy Eggs originally were 999 eggs of the Metaverse by Gal Barkin. He's actually a really great artist and artistic talent. Obviously, you've got some roadmaps here. A lot of this has been fulfilled as of now. The only thing that has not been fulfilled is any holders of a Galaxy Egg and Warrior will get a free first edition Galaxy Egg comic, and there's lots of other things. But for me, what they're doing is they're trying to build like a brand. Think of something like a Star Wars brand, yeah? But based off, instead of Star Wars being owned by whoever they are, Disney, right? And you buy shares in Disney. Well, in this, you're buying the NFTs, which then will be a share. That's kind of the easiest way to go about it. They are then getting investments externally, of course, for various things. But the base kind of shares, if you want to call it that, are these NFTs. And what projects usually do is, if they're investing in a project, instead of obviously the company giving this brand the money, they go ahead and buy those NFTs. So let's say they want to put £1 million in, or they want to put 200 grand in. They will go and buy specific NFTs to the value of that. Not in all instances, but this is an example. And that is the investment in the project. So it's just an interesting little thing to do. And something just to bear in mind is to look at. If we jump over to Galaxy Egg in their Discord, right here, this is something that has just happened recently. Obviously, if you're watching this back later, fair enough, it's going to be a little bit outdated, but ultimately their projects and plan is still the same. You can see here, for the first time, we have finally announced that we have signed with a Hollywood production. The production company that we have partnered will be revealed in the coming days, blah, 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 blah. They are basically looking to build this into a Star Wars of the metaverse. That is their play and their plan. And if you want to kind of look at some of the stories behind what they are intending to do, you can come over to the story and actually read some of these. So these are little, snippets of the kind of stories that they're looking to tell within their overall metaverse. You can see it here. And if you go into their Discord, there was a bit more of a detailed explanation going into all of these. Obviously, this is quite short form. But for me, for example, what this is a Galaxy Warrior. So there's Galaxy Eggs and there's Galaxy Warriors. So for me, the Galaxy Warriors look a lot better. But the floor price is a lot lower because it's their second collection. It's kind of like their, tier 2 or, phase 2, if you want to call it that. But for me, the Warriors are the ones where I feel that the value could be greater over the long term. Because for me, these look a lot better than those eggs, right? And they are connected, there's the similar attributes in all. But for me, they're beautiful. So if I just jump over to OpenSea and I show you the Galaxy Warriors, here we go. If we go ahead and look into some of these, for me, these are a lot cleaner and beautiful. Look at this. I mean, yeah, you've got some kind of, like I said, some of the traits might not fit, but looking at, that's the cheapest one right there. We're going to go ahead. I'll just do the same thing as before. Go to the highest last sale. The highest last sales aren't huge on this. If you're just looking at some of these, you've got this one. I'm looking at some of the more rare ones, or they're more unique looking ones. This one weirdly was sold really expensively for some reason back in the day. Is it going to pop up? Don't know why it's not popping up, but you can kind of get the feel for it. This one looks really cool, but this one looks super cool. For me, this looks the coolest. It's like a futuristic metaverse world, and all of these, are going to be behind their greater story, their greater plan of integrating them all in to a sort of Disney/Star Wars of the metaverse of the future, where they can build a real brand and they can really produce films and TV series and all those kind of things. And for me, it's just really interesting a concept. Not only that, but the artwork for me on the Galaxy Warriors is just phenomenal. I mean, imagine getting a massive A5, what is it, A5, A3, A2, whichever one's the biggest one. Getting that up on the wall in your office. I mean, these look so clean and cool to me. And I can really see if they're looking to take time and really develop this, which it seems they are. They're not, it's not about pushing that floor price up that you see on a lot of projects. That is the surefire way of long-term death, in my opinion. Because if everyone's just focusing on the floor, then there's no stability, there's no community as such in terms of that long-term consistent community. It's gonna, if it's not that, it's gonna be people coming and going all the time. It's just not good for the whole collection and the whole brand. You want to have that kind of like a tribe behind it. That's the driving force behind that project. Idea generation, for example. And so with the Galaxy Eggs, even though it's not necessarily doing much time to time, it's still thriving in the Discord. I mean, I'll just show you, for example. We'll go over to general, I guess. But you can see this is today. This is 10. It's now 12. So this is at 10. Look at all these people chatting. Obviously, it's not ridiculous. How many people do we have in the Discord? Doesn't actually show me. But you can see it's engaging today. Yeah. So there's lots going on all the time. And when a project isn't normally doing well in terms of the floor price getting driven up, that usually means that a project won't do well, or the Discord would just die, and it would just be sort of really sporadic chatting, but nothing really happening. And that is not what is happening. It is holding a very nice floor. It isn't getting absolutely shredded. You're not getting tons of sellers or tons of buyers in terms of you not having any of those yo-yo kind of moves. And for me, that's what you want for a long-term project that will succeed. Because if you're having those massive pumps and dumps because people are looking to make some money, then it doesn't really matter what the project's doing because people are just looking for that. But if you're actually trying to invest in a project, you want it to be the opposite of that. You want it to be very, very kind of consistent, calm, obviously some action. If there's something released or you get, for example, the Galaxy Warriors, you could actually you could mint these if you held the eggs. Of course, you're going to see action when things like that happen, certain announcements. It's going to go up and down, but over time, you want to see that fluctuations up and down like that, rather than the exponential, just ridiculously boom and bust cycle that you see, for example, on NFT worlds, going from 0.1 ETH to 20 ETH in about 4 months. And now it's back at 0.68 ETH, just ridiculous boom and bust cycles. But for this, it hasn't had that. It had its pop at the beginning, which is usually what happens when a new good project comes out. It has that pop, then it has that rebalance, and usually then you see stuff like either death or you see exponential growth and crash. But for this, you have not necessarily seen that. You've actually seen a lot more of a plateau, which is good because you want that to be the norm. Yes, you want it to go up, you want it to go down over time as people are entering and exiting for various reasons. People do different things. But you want to, really for me, phase 2 of the NFT world, phase 1 being the previous cycle, phase 2 being the next cycle, you want to be getting in on projects that have a bit more control over what's going on. Like, not the project itself, but the pricing. If you can get in at a good price, which it is at a good price. I mean, I have seen Galaxy Warriors at 0.049, and I've seen the eggs at half the price it is now. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much different. It's probably $100, so it's not that much different. But for me, I love the Warriors more than the eggs, but in the interest of being kind of smart, I think a 50-50 split would be appropriate because you never really know which ones are going to do well. And actually, if both do well at the same time, then perfect. And for me, it's just great. It's to look and try to potentially get some sort of rares, basically just filtering from highest to lowest ever sold, but then looking through and looking to see what people paid historically, and maybe someone's trying to dump one of them. For example, I think we saw this one. Yeah, someone paid 5.5 ETH. They're now selling it for literally 0.5 ETH. This one. So it's like 10x loss on them, but maybe that's a good deal if you deem that to be a good NFT. It's not financial advice, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but bear that in mind. So I'm just looking through here. This one's 5, this one's 50. So, not a lot of these ones, but you can at times. That's an interesting one, whale. You can find some good deals, if it, periodically, if you are looking. This one's quite nice one. And for me, obviously, why would you want to maybe get some rares on top is that if they release specific things relating to the brand and their project, you could get royalties for that, for owning an NFT. If this is featured, for example, in something, then you can get a percentage of the commission based on that. This one actually is really lovely. So this is kind of the one I love. Like, this is like kind of representing, maybe like Mars. I mean, I'm just speculating here. Mars, in the mountains with like a sort of modern day, or maybe it's ancient, but golden pyramid. Obviously with more high-tech equipment, kind of, sort of mixing in the historical nature of the ancient Egyptians with sort of modern tech in the future. So I just love that. Does it say anything to do with Mars on here? Mars, there we are, Mars. So it is Mars, cool. At least and that's good, because I just guessed that, but having those connections is good, and it shows you that you understand the project. Can you get what I mean? If I'm going, oh, that's on Earth somewhere, and I see it's Mars, well, why do I think that's Earth? The moon doesn't look that big. And have I, because you'll pick up information and knowledge from obviously being part of communities, because I hold a handful of Warriors and eggs. Obviously, I'm not trying to pump my bags or anything, because my 16 viewers probably aren't going to do much with that, but you get what I'm trying to say. And so for me, this is a long-term hold, because the potential of where the project could go for the entry price, not obviously this one, is worth the risk to look into like the 3 to 5 year spectrum on this. And these are, for me, Galaxy Warriors and the eggs are the ones I want to be holding more than not. Not to say I wouldn't sell some, but I want to try to accumulate, and I want to try to sell as little as possible of the collection because of where I see this collection going in the future. So I'm going to leave the video there, everyone. Hopefully you liked it. Any other questions, let me know, of course, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.